everybody, to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Married at First Sight UK Season 9, Episodes 17 through to 20. Now, Chris, which fucking arsehole would you like to start with today?
Well, Dave, I was actually going to thank Joe, so we're not definitely not bracketing Joe.
I'll reframe that then. Where would you like to start today, sir?
We are going to get Jo, and she's on holiday. I did ask the question. She will be as once she's caught back up, maybe next week, but if not, it'll be the final week. But we're definitely going to get Jo on because I cannot wait for a first time with MAFS and buying into it all. We said about it last week. I'm really excited, actually. She's been messaging me the odd thing, and then last Monday I got a message going, "Oh, really? Reality Radar, is it? Oh, I'm waiting for the apology." And I went, "Well, while you're away, you can write mine." So I think it might be me doing that day. But anyway, what we're doing on the podcast. Well, where do we start? This fucking week again. This show, I've got to say, Dave, we're just over halfway, and I am sick to death of these bellends already. You know, there's not one couple really. There's a couple that are sort of, I think, possibly Nathan and Lacey. They now are the front runners. They're the ones that the other couples say, yeah, that they're really sweet, they're really together. But everyone else is either showing cracks or just showing that they're there for the airtime.
Sure? I mean, you're just doubling down on Sasha and Ross not being a real couple then?
Nah, Dave.
The reality radar.
Radar. Even if they did say they loved each other at the start of the week. But yeah, I'm not. In fact, Dave, let's start with them then. So Sasha, they say they love each other. I'm not doubting it. And that moment, 100%. We know this was filmed over a year ago, and you're thinking, right, okay, we'll buy that. It was dead sweet. It was really nice what she did, actually, Sasha. She got like the sign language books so they can learn it together and everything. Honestly, taking the mick, I know the reality radar's under question, but watching that, it is quite wholesome, Dave. But I'm still thinking, I'm not sure here what's going on. I'm not sure. And they were one of the better ones this week, to be honest, because they just didn't really get involved in any of the drama either.
Yeah, so sometimes, you just pick up on these tiny little indicators, and with them, they're saying all the right things, kind of. But I am starting to question it a little bit, just because, they've declared love for each other. Chris, they're not fucking 12. I mean, there's still no talk of any kind of sexual intimacy. Because if there was, then they'd have discussed it. The show would be fucking all over it. Like, yeah, we're going to make this big thing about this. There's been no talk of it, but yet they've declared love for each other. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of buying it, but that's putting enough doubt in my mind now about this couple. I just don't know. I'm not as bought in as I was before, I think. I just, little question mark over them two for me.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you picked up on that. I thought that was a bit strange because I was thinking, it's great. And for the show, I mean, what more would you want, Dave, to get everyone on side? I mean, it doesn't take much for the fucking experts to be on side anyway, does it? Let's be honest.
Oh, there's fucking plenty of barrels for them, by the way.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I've got them in my back pocket. But yeah, I'm with you. Now, this isn't to be thinking because obviously as you get older in relationship, things change and all that. But most of the time, a couple's sort of first thing that, sort of not just the attraction, but the first thing where they've got compatible is usually the physical side of it, isn't it? That intimacy, that sort of, you've got to have a good sex life really to sustain it, haven't you? Otherwise you just become friends. And that's where I'm with you, thinking it's nice that they've gone down this other route, but they're doing it in a cuter way than I think Kieran and Christina are, where basically everyone's asking if they've been intimate and they're coming up with all sorts of fucking excuses. I've got a fucking ingrowing toenail. Oh, hang on a sec. I've got nose hair hanging down. It just didn't find it attractive. We couldn't have any intimacy. I'm not buying any of the shit with them two, by the way. We'll get onto them. And with these two, I'm sort of in that same arena now, thinking this is a little bit for the cameras, the little bit showy more than anything. And that's where I'm with you. I'm sort of like thinking, has everybody got partners outside? Is this why they're not going the whole way. There's a little bit of kissing and cuddling, or so they say, because we can't see it. Obviously, the camera crew are not going to film and bloody snogging each other or anything. I'm not really buying a lot of what's going on with them either, Dave. I think that's a very good point.
I think there's some of them who are playing a very good game for the cameras. Yes. And, may see out the whole show and may, in a few months after the series say, oh, yeah, we've decided to part ways, whatever. The old Instagram post seems to be the go-to now, doesn't it? But some other people haven't got the memo that don't be a massive fucking see you next Tuesday because the editors will definitely put it in and it will amplify because they'll take out all the quiet things and they'll only show you worse bits, but that is still you playing out those worst bits. So I do think like I say, there's not many likable people in there, but yeah, some of the people haven't got a memo that this is an edited TV show. So if you're going to act like a massive bellend, you might get some backlash for it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think you're right. I think we've said it before, like the Aussie one, and I know like it doesn't always hit it out the park, but that has been the pinnacle of MAFS on it. There's a point where they just do not care. We could see in the last series of the Aussie one, yes, we've got that influencer feel about it. The platform is there and it's becoming not just like in the UK where you can become a millionaire overnight. There is opportunities in other countries now, whereas like reality stuff was sort of like, yeah, they've done a show, they do a few more, that's it. In the UK, it's a massive lucrative career, potentially for the right person and everything, unless you're Joey Essex and go the other fucking way and doing everything you built the dick. But I'm with you. I think like what's annoying me, it's a little bit like being in some sort of cult, isn't it? Or some sort like they're in the Masons or something. Every single person on the show, whether it's the fucking experts, the production, the couples, they all have a job to do. And to keep this like show going and keep it believable to a point, unless you're cynical like me and you, who obviously rip into it, they've all got to play their own part, haven't they? They've all got to play the game. And I do think, Dave, I've said this for the last few weeks, and I'm jumping a little bit, but I think Rochelle is actually the only normal person in the show, Dave, who, like you said, has just ended up shanghaied in the middle of this show. Like, what the fuck's going on? And honestly, I'll get on to it because I've jumped, but yeah.
Well, let's keep it. If we're keeping it couple by couple, so we've done Ross and Sasha. So you're still not buying it completely. I'm sort of buying it, but there's just something that doesn't add up. Yes. So there are doubts for me. And you mentioned there about Christina and Kieran. Now, it came out on the, I was going to say confessions couch then, so the commitment ceremony, that, they haven't been intimate really since the honeymoon because he's got a cold sore. And I know you alluded to it, there's all kinds of excuses and whatever. But I mean, it's fucking weird that, isn't it? A newly married couple, it's like, oh no, he's got a cold sore. It's just, if it wasn't for that comment, right, I think I'd be drinking all the Kool-Aid. And I'd be like, oh, this couple seem great. They seem suited for each other. But that's just fucking weird, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And even, I mean, obviously, look, Dave, it's biology. But like when they went on the retreat, Christina straight away to the cameras like, yeah, it's time of the month for me. It's time of the month. I'm thinking, what the fuck's going on here? Like, we don't need to know your biological, like, your biological, we know it's a normal thing when you're in a relationship, that this is just normal human biology. We know that, women go through this every single month. It's like, but it seems to be another excuse to the camera. And I'm like, where I've sniffed out this, celibacy thing, and I'm thinking there's more to this. Maybe it is just a case of, Sasha's doing it to stay on the show. That's it. She'll go as far as the sort of teenage snogging phase, but she's not going any further. But she's going to run the show down. I don't know. But I don't believe anything these two. They seem like mates. They seem like they get on. There doesn't seem to be any attraction between them. They do a good job of convincing every single person around them how much they like each other.
Yeah.
But I don't buy it at all, Dave. I think it's purely the TV relationship. And you said it last week, and these are not going to be together. This is going to be we remain friends and wish the best for them in a few weeks, 100%.
Yeah. For whatever reason, these two are definitely playing it up for the cameras. It all doesn't add up. And so the fact that they're so trying to convince everyone that how great they are and everything, but there isn't this intimacy side to it. It's just, it doesn't add up, and it's not right. I mean, Kieran seems to be coming more and more out of his shell and having a better relationship with the rest of the blokes on the retreat, doesn't he? But,
yeah.
I'll wonder if, will these two commit when it gets right to the end of the season, and then it'll be a few months after we'll find out they've split up then. But yeah, unfortunately, if it wasn't for the whole cold sore thing, and then probably wouldn't have even noticed the fact with the, like saying it's the time of the month for Christina on the retreat, wouldn't have even noticed that probably if it wasn't for that first comment. But it's all just, it's excuses, and the way they are together, the way they're playing up for the cameras, you would think they'd be far along in their relationship. So I'm with you there on that one. Though I'm not buying it.
No, good stuff. So what about Amy and Luke then, Dave? Mr. Smooth. Well, as Holly called them, Ken and Barbie, Dave. They seem like a really good couple. They seem actually that a lot of the couples are going to them for advice, aren't they? And they seem, because Luke said he's not really into anything. He throws in the odd one-liner. As a couple, aesthetically, they look good. I've got nothing. I don't think there's anything going on with these two at the moment. I really don't. There was that little thing with Alex a little bit, which is more Holly's, jealousy side of it. And we'll get into that later. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I keep dropping these in there. But yeah, with these two, I've got nothing to say, really. I just think they're just plodding along. They seem to have fit in nicely. They're sort of in the background at the moment.
Yeah, I think they seem to be going well, don't they? I do like I do like Luke's one-liners, like you say. What was he said to Casper after they had a bit of a snog? He said something like, if you open the fridge, you have to reach in and feel around.
Yeah, but if the food's off, why would you, Dave? You know what I mean?
So yeah, and I tell you what, you say about Ken and Barbie, fucking jacked Ken and Barbie. Jesus Christ, he had the old wife beater vest on, didn't he? And it's like, fucking hell, he's not just got a good body, like he's fucking huge.
Yeah, so, he's like an action man, isn't he?
It's like a fucking He-Man. The size of his back and shoulders and everything. But yeah, they seem to be going on quite well. And, Amy, there's a few people, a few of the blokes, a few of the other husbands taking a shine to Amy, but I don't think she's interested at all. I think she's from that initial kind of ick phase where he was throwing out all the cheesy lines and she wasn't buying it at all. She's gone completely the other way, and now she finds him endearing and cute, and he does sort of throw out the cheesy lines. And like I say, they seem to land. But then he's also been there, we'll get on, I'm sure, to Hannah later, but, he seems to be just an all right person as well, in terms of the advice that he gives to other people. So, yeah, if I'm bought into anyone, Chris, it's probably this couple.
Yeah, no, I think they've been doing well. And even another couple, there was a little bit of drama, which I thought was one of the cringiest, best bits of the whole week, to be honest, was on the last episode, was Ryan. What's the name? Is it Siobhan? It can't be Siobhan, but what's the name? I can't think of it. Is it the way her name's spelled?
Let's just say Sian.
Sian, that's the Dave. Yeah, Sian. And there was this weird thing with Stephen, who just fucking like, hang on a minute, he's not here. What's happened? Because she didn't turn up with Ryan. And I think that was a little bit of producer manipulation for a bit of a storyline. But then Stephen absolutely shot his fucking shot and looked like a complete dick. I was like, oh, you look like a knob. And Ryan wasn't having it, to be fair. He was like, come on. He was sat there. He's like, yeah. Well, and even because the experts had seen this, they were like, well, it's the first sign of like fucking problems in his relationship. He's going after someone else. And that, for me, Dave, revealed a lot about Stephen, about this whole thing we talked about last week, about why he's nowhere near his kids, why he's done all this, he's playing rugby around the world. He seems like, this is my opinion, he seems like a very selfish man, and he's basically getting that fame chasing that he's doing at the moment, that you can clearly see that. But be honest, Dave, I know he's got a good body now, but why would Sean actually trade Ryan in for him? I'm not being funny. Yeah. Ryan's like a model, isn't he? Them blue eyes, Dave. Yeah, you're fucking melting them blue eyes. Even I'm sat there going, he's got some eyes. Yeah.
So I'm not sure which couple to respond to, Ryan and Sean or Stephen and Hannah. So let's start with Ryan and Sean then. So I think, they seem to be getting on okay. Definitely fancy each other. There's no question there. I think they're going to struggle to communicate a bit because, he doesn't seem to be a world-class leader. I did really appreciate the way he shot Stephen down. He was having none of it at all. And even the experts could see, as Stephen was getting his excuses in, Ryan was having none of it. He's heard them all before. He's not buying it. But yeah, that whole thing that with Sean and Ryan, they argued about disclosing what the other had said, on the boys went off, didn't they? And they had the whole stick or twist. Do you want to stick with your current partner or twist to go with someone else? And she was fishing for what the lads had said. And he said, he turned it round and said, what did the girls say? And then apparently he got the ump and stormed off. Now it's hard to tell because none of it's on camera, which again is one of my irritations with this show, Chris. I fucking want it all to be filmed and then editors cut down and show us the bits you want us to show, rather than it being so set up and so it's so obvious. I know we said it last week, but it's so obvious with this lot how they're so hyper aware of the cameras. They're even telling us, let's discuss this, but we'll discuss it off camera. So it tells us. It's not like they say with Love Island, don't they? People forget the cameras are there after a while. It's so obvious with this lot. They'd never forget the cameras are there. So, yeah, I think Ryan and Sean, I don't know. I think they'll go okay for a little bit, like I say, based on that sexual chemistry. But I worry about how they communicate with each other. I just don't think it'll last the long haul.
No, I'm with you, Dave. I'm with you. Now, there was a bit of a breakthrough this week, Dave, with Casper and Emma. Finally, there was something. They got a snog out of each other. Casper seemed to go all doughy-eyed as well when they were talking about it. That was basically in the last episode. And he said, didn't he? He said to the experts, which I found quite interesting, was they said that Paul said to her, I don't want to offend you, but you've got this thing where it's sort of like you're too happy, basically, aren't you? This isn't a term for it, isn't there? But you just cannot be that happy. Toxic positivity. That's it. Toxic positivity. And she admitted it, and he even sort of made her apologise, sort of thing, which I thought was quite interesting. But she even said that. She said, I've heard it myself one day. I was waiting for that. But
just... Oh, fucking hell. I tell you what, the experts, fuck it. I can't keep my trap shut anymore. The experts, fucking terrible. But I do love that term. I can't decide if I'm going to give them props or not. I don't know. I haven't looked up if toxic positivity is a real thing, but I kind of feel like it's someone who's really happy. No one can accuse us of toxic positivity on the show, Chris.
Not on this, no.
We're talking. No one can accuse us of that. But it's just like fucking sad sack coming along to someone who's really happy. Like someone might be genuinely happy with life, genuinely happy with themselves, and then you stick the word toxic in front of it. Oh yeah, it's toxic positivity, that is. Do you not want to sit in the corner and have a cry sometimes? It just cracks me up that it might be just this made up thing. And I don't know. She seems to take it on the chin, and I think it's basically being fake, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
it's pretending like everything's fantastic. It just, the reason it tickled me is because I thought, well, some people just are fucking happy. You know, they just are a lot happier with life, and now it's out there, you know, out there in the public, and we can use this term when we're feeling a bit shit, and to shoot someone down because they're happy, coming whistling maybe into the office. Oh, that's toxic positivity, that is.
But I said to you though, and I think I've said it on this podcast, that someone said that to me about 6-7 months ago at work.
Really?
Yeah, someone said it to me. So I thought I told you. So I thought I said it on the podcast. We were doing like one of these workshop things where like everyone's doing, go in groups of 3 over there, and there's a room of about 30 people. And this lady who I've worked with for about 20 years, she just said, "Can I ask you a question?" So I went, yes. She goes, "Why are you so happy?" And I went, "Oh, because it's just my personality." Yeah, but she has genuinely to my face, Dave. I thought I told you this. She said, "I just think it's fake." So she obviously thinks I'm positive, toxic positivity. I went, so I was like quite taken aback. First of all, she's joking. I went, but why can't it be? I said, I get up in the morning. I'm one of the people who gets up and I'm fucking happy and I'm ready to go. Why wouldn't a bit? I know now it's part of obviously my ADHD, but that's just me. That's my personality. I am a morning person. I'm a day person. I don't really have bad days. That's just me. I'm more on the positive side of anything. Even when things are getting me down, there's always going to be something. We all have our moments. You know me better than anyone, but it's like I was taken aback by it, and I was thinking afterwards, I was like, "Oh fuck me, I've never heard that before. I'm too fucking happy." Like just the way she said it. She never said them words, toxic positive, but I was really taken back, going, "Oh well." He goes, "Well, you're just always happy. You come and ask for something, or you're talking to people around the office." I thought, well, they hardly ever see this person anyway because she works remote. I was like, right, okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I'll just come over and be fucking miserable every time I speak to you if you want. You know what I mean? She'll soon be going, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" I was like, fucking. But as soon as he said it, Paul, I was like, "Oh, that's me. Maybe I am too fucking happy and it's fake. I don't know." But he did quite. I can relate to what Paul said, even though it's the first time I've actually heard that term.
Yeah, I just, so my hypothetical person is you.
Yeah.
some miserable bastard is like, "Oh, he fucking must be fucking fake, toxic positivity." I mean, I'm not going to say it's the part of the world that you're in, but I have experienced the counter to that, because almost part of me thinks, you know what, if you come into the fucking office, and you're all happy and everything, and it's a bit fake, and it's put on, I don't see a massive problem with that. It's better than being a miserable fucking bastard walking around with a sour face all the time. And there was a guy, I can't remember if I've discussed it with you before. I worked with this guy years ago, and he come into the office. He was from Stockport, he was. And he come into the office, and I can't remember his fucking name. It was a contractor. I say, "You all right, mate? Good morning." It's like, "Oh, no, Dave. Oh, didn't sleep very well last night. Oh, my back's killing me, and got to take the kids." Just fucking from that, "You're right," in the morning, that polite gesture, that polite greeting, just unloads the fucking world's problems onto me. So what did I do after a while? I stopped fucking asking, didn't I?
I was just about to say that. Walk around the corner.
Like, don't fucking drag me down with your fucking sad sack fucking problems in life. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, I think that if you're going to be toxic, positively toxic, I don't fucking know.
Toxic positivity.
If you're going to do that, that's surely better than being a miserable "see you next Tuesday."
Yeah, I don't. It's a bizarre one. But anyway, it's a learning one, Dave. As you get older, it's a learning one. Nathan Lacey said it before, Dave. Not really a lot going on, is it? They're just motoring along quietly in the background. They're literally one of the best of a bad bunch, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Again, I think he comes across as someone really authentic. Probably the first person who we've discussed in this whole lot so far. I do worry about the family dynamic, but let's see how that goes. See if they can kind of get over that in terms of Lacey's mum and her sister and everything. But Yeah, they seem to be going on quite well. Not really been on camera much this week, have they? They sort of turn up at the dinner parties and stuff, but there's not really that much drama with them two.
No, there's not anything really with them, is it? Again, they were sort of like a shoulder for a few people to cry on, weren't they, really, this week, which, shows the strength in their relationship, or what everyone thinks anyway. But I've got to say, Dave, I've saved these for the end run, because this week, 3 of the couples for me, and one of now, it wasn't necessarily, I mean, Alex and Holly have taken up, out of the 4 or 5 weeks we've been doing this, they have taken up a lot of time. And again, this week, Alex, not really so much. There was a little bit at the start of the week, but Holly and Polly, Dave, this week, I know I'm going across, not a good look at all. I've always said I'm not a big fan of Holly, and what she's done this week, and the whole, the jealousy thing she had the other day with like Hannah, and it's like, with Hannah initially, when she said about you going to the gym, and then Amy, and then this whole thing this week with Hannah. As much as I want to talk about Hannah, she don't get off scot-free. I just felt mean girl vibes completely, Dave. Just jealous, mean girl, nasty. And I kept thinking to myself, and this is just my opinion, yeah, you were part of the group of girls at school who used to bully people and be bitches, didn't you?
100%.
And I'm going to throw it out there, whether that's I'm right or not, because you can clearly see that. And then she plays the whole tears come out then when she gets called out, because not a good look for me at all, Dave. And Alex, not a massive fan, but he didn't really do a lot wrong this week, if I'm being honest. It was more Holly.
Yeah, so this week hasn't been bad for Alex, hasn't it? And considering all the previous weeks, for him to be the least bell end in the couple, for this week, takes some doing, doesn't it? Well done, Holly. You got the mantle there. So, yeah, it's just a terrible look by Holly and Polly. And 100%. They were the absolute mean girls squared on or back at school. You could just tell people don't change massively, and you'd think, when what was it, the lesbian couple whose names
even Charlie.
That's the one, yeah. So when she went after Charlie, and then she comes out on social media after, it's like, oh yeah, well we just didn't know, because like Eve was giving us this story, and so you're like, okay, I can give you a pass. But you know what? From Polly, seen exactly the same behaviour there, exactly the same. She just made her mind up on something on one side of the argument, and then doesn't give a fuck, just absolutely goes for someone. And that thing, what was it? Sat on the couch, don't you go being brave. And I thought, you want to get on fucking EastEnders, you do. But getting back to Holly, I think she came across horribly this week, and she's so fucking insecure. You think that's driving a lot of the behaviour, but she just comes across like a fucking prick, to be honest. And so I don't think Alex has done a lot wrong this week. I think he listened, in the commitment ceremony, he had some feedback about, how he communicates. And he's like, look at me, if I go at someone, it's quite threatening and intimidating. So he ends up, he somehow evolved to this behavior of, he won't say anything, but he gives the death stare.
Yeah.
So that's his coping strategy. But to be fair, the experts called him out on it, and he seems to have listened to that feedback. Now, another thing that's off camera, apparently there's all this interaction with Hannah and Alex. Hannah's flirting a bit to Alex, and that's why Holly is behaving the way she's behaved. I'm sure she'd see it that way. But remember, Chris, when Stephen and Hannah first came into the flats, they were introduced to Alex and Holly, and it's like, it's all a bit too cute, isn't it? It's all a bit too convenient, the way this drama's unfolding.
Yeah, 100%. Because we've never seen that. We said it last week. We've never seen that before, have we? Where they're in there, and her hug with Alex was far too lingering, wasn't it? And then Dave, I'm not being funny, but like when you read about these, this is a wild statement. But you know, like, you read about these horrible things where someone's being groomed, and some of the dialogue they say is like, "You're my number one. You're just for me." And Hannah's saying to Alex, who's built like a superhero, and she's going, "Oh yeah, you're my number one boy." I'm like, what the fuck is that sort of word? What wording is that? And that gets back to Holly, and I'm like, there's something off here completely with this whole dynamic. I mean, I didn't necessarily think it was going to be awesome, but yeah, Holly, she's right. What got me is at the start of the week, I was all for, like, right, I can't wait to speak to Dave. Hannah, you know, she's going to get it. She's terrible, blah, blah, blah. But then Holly and Polly just systematically broke it down into, oh, you're horrible. No matter what I think of Hannah, and we'll get into that, I'm like, you two pair of bellends, like, they're just horrible, horrible friends together. They've got WhatsApp groups, I bet, slagging everyone off. You can clearly see that. That's like, it's not even banter, is it, Dave, or funny?
No.
And the experts have seen this, and I just hope, and I know they fucking won't, but I just hope that they hold her to task, her and Polly, because they're not going to, Dave. They're probably going to give them a fucking
people say
aren't they?
People say we're not optimistic, but fuck me, that's optimism right there. The experts will hold up to account.
There's more chance of United winning the fucking league than the experts fucking doing the job properly, isn't there? Jesus Christ. But it's true though, isn't it? Fucking Paul will be there with a fucking bouquet of flowers with a Mel will be like, oh, don't do it again. You know what I mean? And then it'll just, oh, fuck me. Yeah, I don't even know why I've even said that statement. I sound the right fella now. But anyway, Orson and Rochelle, Dave. I think I'm Team Rochelle now. I'm not being funny. I know everyone's saying how rude she is and everything, but I've said for weeks, Orson's come out now. This whole week has just shown to me he's either had a bit with Hannah or he's looking for an escape route to stay on the show. And I can see a new couple on the horizon. I said it in the chat. Are we going to get Orson and Rochelle go? And then we see Hannah and Stephen go. And then Orson and Hannah come back as a couple, maybe next week or something, the back end of next week or whatever. But it's the MAFS playbook, and I can clearly see what they've done the last 3 or 4 seasons across UK and Australia happening yet again, because something's gone on between these two, or there's an arrangement. Let's pretend to get together for the show, and I can clearly see what's going on.
Well, I don't know if I fall down on Team Rochelle, to be honest, or Rochelle. I see what you're saying, that Orson, you know, he looks like he might be a bit fake, and you keep referring back to like Richie a couple of seasons ago with Lara, that, you know, maybe he's just different on camera to what he is off camera, but she is just a bell end consistently.
She's rude. So, she's very rude, yeah, I'll give her that.
Really rude, but also like a fucking hypocrite as well. Like, if you don't want to be on this show, just fuck off and go off the show. So, and the problem I have with Rochelle is, at the commitment ceremony, they both said they were going to stay. And then she gets the ump because Orson says, oh, some of the things that she says, you know, don't make me feel very good, or something like that. And then she's like, well, you've never expressed that before. I'm sorry, Rochelle. Do you just go around abusing everyone verbally?
yeah, like, no, well, I don't defend that. Yeah.
If they don't say back, it's like a fucking tree. If no one's in a forest to hear a tree fall, does it make any sound? It's like, fucking hell. Does he really have to spell it out that, yeah, when you say these fucking horrible, nasty, hurtful things, it affects people? If she's gone 48 years without fucking figuring that out, then she wants to have a word with herself. So, yeah, I do think Orson is probably a bit on the fake side, but they both said they were going to stay. And then as soon as he said that, it's like, oh, I gave up, you know, going to my daughter's birthday. No, you made the fucking choice to not go to your daughter's birthday, and you fucking said stay, but then apparently Orson is a cretin. Because,
cretin, what a word!
Because I know, sort of yank that one back out the 80s.
Fucking Blackadder or something.
She's like, you got a cunning plan. You cunning plan.
You cretin. You know, what the fuck? I was like, wow, that is a throwback word we've not heard for a long time.
So, yeah, that's why I'm not fucking Team Rochelle, because, again, if Orson's playing it up, well, he's not the only one, but she's being much worse for me.
Oh no, Dave. I mean, again, Chris Phelps put the flag in the sand. Team Rochelle. I just
And then
feel that
backpedaling.
I'm backpedaling now. Yeah, no, I'm not backpedaling. I do believe that everything she said about fake, because he hasn't got an answer for it. When she calls him out as fake, he hasn't got anything. He walks off. He'll change the subject. He comes. He starts talking nonsense. He's basically. It's what you said last week. It's literally like she's just woke up from a sleep and gone, "Where the fuck am I? Who's this guy? Why am I here?" And she's in the middle of a TV
fucking
show.
BA on the A team. He fucking wakes up in a different state.
With the hamburgers, everyone's
roofied me again.
Everyone's swapping hamburgers, and the one he eats knocks him asleep to get on the plane. But yeah, she's just completely out of place. But then, as you've just said, why the fuck say stay? Then blame him for it's her daughter. Yeah. He is not locking the key, locking the fucking door to the apartment and hiding the key, is it? She could have gone, if that's your daughter or son, whoever, you would go, you know what, fuck it. There's no TV show worth this. She's not getting paid for it anyway. We've said this last week. That was a really, really poor excuse. And the fact she said stay, I was like, I don't know. And then that's when I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. But as the week's gone on, I'm like, no, Olsen definitely is blagging it. I think there is stuff going on off camera or not going on off camera, and then he comes to life when he's on camera. So, but if he does get with Hannah, he's well also within his rights to fuck Rochelle off because of the way she spoke to him and treated him. If we take on board that the way she's speaking to him on camera is exactly the same off camera, then why wouldn't he? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I still think this. I still sway to now after 4 or 5 weeks. I'm swaying more to the way her way of thinking after what's happened this week with Hannah.
I don't know. I'm still influenced. You know the old Bachelorette that we watched, where the guy didn't he have written notes of his dastardly plan or something?
I love it. Yeah.
And then everyone's sort of talking to him, saying, "Oh, you know, you've imagined. You know, you're not here for. I think it was Katie or someone, wasn't it? You're not here for her, and you have imagined yourself as a bachelor, even though you know that's what happens at every previous season. You thought about that, and every fucking bellend in that room is in the same boat. But it's like the fucking Salem witch trials, and they're like, he's the one on trial, and he's got fuck all." I think Rochelle is as big a faker as Orson is. Right in stay after the way she's behaved, after all the things she said about not trusting him and thinking he's fake and whatever. Her making the choice, I think she's fucking feeling probably rightly guilty about not going to see her daughter. And I think it's almost that line is for her daughter. Oh, look, you know, I was duped here. No, you made that fucking choice. Now own it.
Exactly. It's not like she's in prison, is it, Dave? You know what I mean? That's totally different. That's a totally different discussion. But yeah, let's see, Dave. The reality radar is all over the place this week, I'll be honest with you, because that did knock me for 6. Like, why have you not just said? I expected him to say stay. Come up with some faux fucking explanation about, like, as a couple, you know, I think there's still something there. And she rolls her eyes and is like, oh, fuck off. But like what Alex did last week, you know, I'm going to go, but he knows full well Holly is that desperate to stay on the show that she's going to say stay, and that's what he's done. But when she did it, I'm with you. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I really don't. But anyway, I've alluded to Hannah, Dave. I've alluded to Hannah. Now, I don't even know where to start with Hannah, but what did you think of what she's done this week and how this has played out?
Well, I think the problem is I don't particularly like her and the way she comes across. I do think she's a massive faker as well. You know, in terms of making it obvious, we've talked about most of the people in terms of being fake and having that game plan. And I definitely think the group are picking up on something from her. They're not just imagining nothing. However, Stephen has done a good job in gaslighting everyone into this deep, dark secret that he holds, and Hannah was basically threatening to expose it. Now, when they had that whole argument, didn't he disclose something that she'd said off camera? And so she was retaliating. He'd said something, and she was saying, "Oh, well, if we're going to start talking about stuff that, we said we wouldn't discuss on camera, what about this other thing then?" And then he's got the ump over that. But it's all become about that. Chris, he's just a massive prick. You could sort of see it from episode 1. And there's something just not right about him, because his favorite line, "That's it. I'm done. I'm done." And then what? Hannah's speaking to other people. "Oh, I'm done." you can, once you've said you're done, you can't be redone. You can't just keep repeating the same fucking thing. But he finds new and imaginative ways to say, "I'm done." He's just a fucking massive bellend, to be honest. So even though I don't particularly like Hannah, I do think there's a plan there. But the fact that the way the girls went at her, the fact that he is just being such a knob, kind of makes me more team Hannah than anything else. And that's just by being repelled by the rest of the fucking group, as opposed to particularly liking her. So it's a complex one, Chris, but also why I fucking love this show.
No, I'm with you. I do not like her at all. I think what it's shown this week, two things in them as well, they're not even a couple, two individuals, is Stephen, he likes Sian. That's his type. Hannah isn't his type. I don't think he's attracted to her. I think his whole ruse is the fact that he probably feels as if he got the wrong pick. Like when we had it with Morag a few seasons ago, the UK one.
Yeah.
I didn't order that guy.
That's not what I ordered.
It's not what I ordered, yeah. But it's like, yeah, it's not a fucking Amazon. It's not an Amazon Prime fucking Black Friday sale or anything like that. You can't, you don't get like knockoff Prince Charmings or anything. It's fucking bullshit. And Hannah is not a good person, Dave. You can see that. Some of the stuff she's done this week has been really bad. However, when Holly and Polly went at her and were horrible to her, I was like, you know what? I hope fucking Hannah cops off with Alex or something, just to piss fucking Polly, or she does with Adam, or, just something, because I was thinking what she's done is, I don't believe the bullshit line of it's just banter. It's not banter. She's trying out other fucking couples, partners, the guys, to see if any of them are going to fucking take a bite so she can stay in the show. She wants the scandal. She wants the affair, this fucking, like where the Aussie one where they got that Carolina and that guy in the fucking gym who weren't.
That was the first one, wasn't it? Was it Carolina and Jackson, or who?
No, I can't remember the name. The guy who was not beat a sweat on and was in the gym and stuff, and they were having a chat.
Do you not feel like that has become part of the scripts now?
That's so. Yeah, 100%.
Every single season, UK or Australia, every season since has had some kind of swapping scandal, and it's just, you're right, the telegraphing that it's going to be Hannah and Orson, and I just hope I'm wrong and I'm surprised, because if it plays out like that, then it calls into question the credibility of the show again, because I like to believe that there's a tiny bit of real people in here, but if there's yet another swapping scandal, then it just makes it so obvious how fake it is.
Yeah, because it's the playbook, isn't it? The MAFS playbook. The last 2 or 3 seasons we've had this, haven't they? Because Carolina came in with that guy on the Aussie one, and maybe it was Jackson. He was one of the more hated guys, one who came back, and everyone was like, "You fucking bellend," and all that, and what he did. And this is going to be the same. And they're not necessarily the same, but I think like Rochelle is just going to absolutely jump all over this. Like if this happens, she's literally going to be front of the queue. What have you done? You've ruined my life. When she have a good word to say about Orson. And Hannah is just desperate to stay on the show. But Stephen, I think he's just a complete knob, Dave. And you're right. Just like, what a weird dynamic of people. I mean, come on. It's like, you've got 4 kids, mate. I'd said it last week, why they've put her with him anyway. The children thing is ridiculous, because they'd have 5 kids then who he'd have to look after if he did have a kid. He's like, come on, he's not going to She's not going to take them on. He's definitely not. He's going to have to become a multi-millionaire for all the child maintenance the way he's going. He's got a fucking turbo dick and he's dipped in fucking Viagra by the sounds of it. But it's like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, you just make some of it believable. And that, I honestly thought we would be coming on here and I'd be going into Hannah at the start of the week and it'd be like, right, we're ready, Dave. Classic fucking MAFS, classic reality TV. Oh, that's terrible. She's trying to steal other partners, from the girls. But when the girls went at her, it was wrong. And a lot of the other girls knew that, but they weren't strong enough to stand up to Polly and Holly, who were just bullying her in the end. I don't think, I don't like Hannah, you've said that, but I think them two just completely took any argument we had against Hannah away because it's just bad behaviour. And the experts have got to call them two out. I'm out myself if they do this, Dave, tomorrow. I know they're not. I don't know why I'm saying it, but dicks.
I know I mentioned it before, but I've never heard anyone say, don't you go being brave.
I know.
I can just see it in the middle of EastEnders or something, in the Queen Vic or something like that. It's just straight out of that. It's just like, what does that even mean? She's cower in the corner and just tremble beneath you. What exactly are you asking for there? But again, I'm sure there'll be a backlash, and she go, oh, it's a fucking edit, yada yada. But it's literally the second person you've really gone after. And you know what, Chris? I'm going to be a massive fucking hypocrite now because I've said about there's always a fucking swapping scandal now. So it's all part of the playbook and it just makes it obvious how manipulated it is. However, because of Rochelle's behavior and because of Stephen's behavior, I kind of think fucking go for it.
Yeah,
I would be cheering for fucking Orson and Hannah. Fuck you, fuck the lot of you. And actually, fuck Polly as well. Because she, for some weird reason, I don't know how genuine that is about her saying, oh, yeah, get on really well with Stephen. Because she's getting nothing back from Stephen at all. There's no way anything's happening there. But I personally felt when they did the whole stick or twist thing, Polly was doing that mainly to get at Hannah. That was it. She was just like trying to really stick the knife in because it seemed like her and Adam were making a bit of progress. It was mostly her doing the chasing initially, and then he seems to have softened. And to be fair, he seems to have accepted some of the shitty, not necessarily some of the really shittier things, but he's a slow burn. He needs to let his guard down a bit more and be a bit open and express his feelings. He seemed to be saying a lot of the right things this week, and I think that Polly was just making a play, saying she's going to twist for Stephen to really just stick it to Hannah. But then she's not stopped to even think. She's got the red mist, so she's not stopping to think, well, how might Adam feel about this? She ultimately doesn't give a fuck. And like you say, they have a bit of an argument and then the tears come out then, so everyone's like, it's like, I don't know, saying Hitler on an internet forum back in the day. That was the end of it, wasn't it? That was the end of the argument, apparently. If you were in an internet forum spat, it gets to Hitler and that's it. The game's over. So I don't know why I went off on that rabbit hole, Chris. But yeah, so Stephen can fuck right off. Rochelle can fuck right off. And Team Orson and Hannah don't particularly believe in you or like either of you, but fucking go for it.
You know what, Dave, as well, you're right. This situation with Polly is I have called Adam out and I've been taking the piss, saying, oh, he's one of the boys. You can see the pictures on Instagram. They're all tattooed up and all that. And it's coming from someone who's covered in tattoos. Just the cliche, the haircut, everything. But as the week went on, I was like, you know what, Adam, fuck her. She's fun, and not frivolously. Just fucking get rid of her. They've had a bit of intimacy. She's not a nice person. And maybe this is why he's just showing a little bit of class and has not really thrown her under the bus, because her behaviour is really bad. And it's been really bad this week when she's got a bit of a backup and a bit of like Holly backing her and all that, bit of a platform. And when Hannah came in, and it was like she's talking to about 2 or 3 of the guys, and she does that middle finger thing, and the experts going, "Oh no, no, no," and I'm thinking, I don't want Paul to deal with her. I want Mel to deal with her, because Mel can be stern, but I fucking wish that John was here, Dave, from the Aussie one. He won't stand any messing, John. He would lay into her straight away. And all the people who've been bad on it, not just Polly, but all of them. But these are going to let her off. I'm telling you, they're going to let her off. She's going to pull the tears out. And it's like, Adam's right. What you said is right, Dave. She just wants to win that argument. She just wants to belittle Hannah. So she's going to say Stephen. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, does it? And then she tried to justify it by saying how bad he'd been, and he went, "I was bad. I've basically say, I know, I've owned it. I've apologized. You can't fucking throw that back in my face because you're wrong. You just need to apologize." And that's what the experts were saying. They were saying she just needs to apologize. She's now doubling down and trying to deflect it. How that's going to come across? I mean, I can't wait. You're right. The fucking show is ridiculous, and I'm slating it, but I just can't wait for tomorrow either, because it's just going to be great. Don't get anybody listening. Let's not kid ourselves. I will be there as soon as it starts watching this, because I can't wait for the fallout. But trying to peddle it as if she's the fucking innocent one, I am not having it, Dave. I'm going to have me fucking tomatoes, throwing them, not on my TV because it's a nice TV, but I'm going to be throwing them figuratively. Imagine I'm going to be throwing them tomatoes at her, going boo, because she can't get out of this at all. She was worse than Holly, I thought, as the week went on, even though when they were together, they weren't great, but she was really bitchy. And I feel now that Adam has had a lot to put up with that we've not seen on camera, because it's all been one way. It's all been Adam being selfish. I'm not into you. You're not my type, blah, blah, blah. The barriers have come down. He even admits it himself. There is a lot to it that was true that Polly was saying, but I'm thinking she seems quite moody as well. I'm wondering whether she's having a few hissy fits, and they don't speak a lot. And it might not always be down to Adam. And I never thought I'd be saying that, Dave, after the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's probably the surprise of the week, isn't it? That we'd be defending Adam by this point. It makes no sense.
That's great, isn't it?
Sort of slating him last week, saying he's fucking Sam from Quantum Leap, and now we're like, oh, fucking poor Adam.
Poor Adam. I know what's
that. It's like, what's going on?
It's true.
Well, I tell you what, you say you hope Mel goes after Polly and whatever. Well, I wouldn't fucking mess with her, because in the last commitment ceremony, it looked like she'd taken the black and was working for the fucking Night's Watch in Game of Thrones.
The outfit. Fucking hell.
It was utterly bizarre. She looked like fucking Jon Snow. So, I mean, I kind of hope the experts go after her as well, Chris. But, we see it time and time again. We see it, they'll have... they'll flirt with something that sort of sounds like a stern talking to, and then they might say, "Okay, I accept that. I'll work on it." And they go, "That's all I wanted to hear." No, fucking, it deserves more than that. Holly and Polly, they'd have been separated at school, wouldn't they? It's like, right, you two, you have to sit apart, being horrible and nasty to everyone. So yeah, but yeah, Chris, I tell you what, fucking roll on Monday night.
I know, we're a better balance. We've slated it for an hour and all these people, but it's like, you know what? That's why we're here, because this is the sort of shit that we fucking want. Anything else, Dave, before we go?
No, I think we've covered a lot there, haven't we? We've said, well, not a lot that's positive, but we're over the halfway mark now, aren't we? So we're into the final stretch, so we're going to see a little bit more drama, and then obviously you're leading up to the final commitments, and let's see how it goes. But I mean, Christ, there's not many couples to get behind, is there?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Say Nathan and Lacey, maybe Ross and Sasha, but that's probably it. And Alex and Luke, I guess, but they're newer, so let's see where that all goes. I do think Alex has definitely got eyes for Amy, but I don't think she's interested at all.
No, she's not into it at all, I don't think. So, massive thank you to everyone. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media @cdrealitycast, please go over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. If you are outside the UK, there is all the links for the show on there. The chat function on Facebook as well. There is a MAFS UK chat function that Charlene set up. Big thank you to Charlene as always. Loads of great chat in there as well. And obviously, there's no spoilers on the front page of the Facebook page, but come and join us over there. As I say, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. It is good fun, and it's just the chat is brilliant. Talking about the show, we can all sort of get it off our chest. It's like a counselling session sometimes. That chat is really good. For each show, there's different chats for each show that we cover, which is excellent. If you do want to support us, please get over to patreon.com/CD RealityCast. So the roll call of honour is a big thank you to Anna, Tilly, Marcy, Stacey, Sinead, Kathleen Sims, Andrea, Nick, Danielle, Kim, Amanda, Larissa, Helen, Nicola, Fiona, Zoe, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Chloe, Joanna, Libby, Susan, Lauren, Luckily Green, and Ken Gustafson. So thank you so much, guys, for all your support. Everyone who supported myself and Dave over the last few years, past and present on Patreon. We really appreciate it.
That's awesome, mate. And it has been great to talk. And like I say, no one could accuse us, of the old toxic positivity. But let's say, I mean, Emma and Casper, I'm curious where that goes. I think I didn't really respond to you, Casper, going all doe-eyed, but it's definitely one that I didn't see coming this week. But let's see. I'm not sure if that's more of a blip than anything else, but let's see. Chris, it's been marvellous. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all our listeners. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.